Hello guys, today we are going to do bioinorganic, bioorganic and biophysical chemistry, which is paper 2 of MSc chemistry final year. ये मैक्सिमम मार्क्स 75 का सॉरी मैक्सिमम 75 मार्क्स का आता है ये पेपर। सो इसका यूनिट 1 करने वाले हैं हम आज, मेटल आयंस इन बायोलॉजिकल सिस्टम्स। सो these are the questions जो 2021 में आए हैं, 2019 में आए हैं, 2018 में आए हैं, 17 में। these are the questions जो कि लास्ट ईयर आ चुके हैं यूनिट 1 से। so this is the syllabus and we will go now on the first topic, which is sodium potassium pump. Sodium, important for the functioning of the nerves of animals, major component of vertebrate blood plasma, relatively harmless except in excessive amounts, major essential element for plant growth, a major proportion of the potassium salts used in fertility, essential to all organisms, may be absent in blue-green algae, major cation of cytoplasm, important in nerve action. Potassium is electric signaling in cells, plays an important role in regulation of cellular electrolyte metabolism, transport of essential nutrients and enzymatic analysis, assists in the conduction of nerve impulses, contributes to overall electrolyte balance of virtually all living organisms. Sodium potassium pump. Most common example of a cell membrane pump is it moves 3 Na plus ions out of the cell and moves 2 K plus ions into the cell. Carrier protein uses ATP as it moves potassium ions and sodium ions across the cell membrane. Systems move sodium and potassium ions against large concentration gradient. It moves 2 potassium ions into the cell where potassium levels are high, pumps 3 sodium ions out of the cell and into the extracellular fluid. Sodium potassium pump cycle uses ATP to transport sodium and potassium ions across the cell membrane. It is outside the cell, inside the cell. This is ATP. Here Na plus ions, which are 3 Na plus ions in and 2 K plus ions outside the cell. So this is the whole cycle, pump cycle. Rapid ionic moment causes the release of action potential. The mechanism within neurons creates action potentials through the exchange between sodium and potassium ions in and out of the cell. Adenosine triphosphate (ATP) provides energy for proteins to pump 300 sodium ions per second out of the cell while simultaneously pumping 200 potassium ions per second into the cell, thus making the outside of the cell more positively charged and the neuron negatively charged. This rapid ionic moment causes the release of action potentials K plus 100 mm, K plus 5 mm, Na plus 10 mm, Na plus 150 mm. Found in membranes of cells, produces electrical and chemical gradient across a cell membrane, plays a very important role in nerve cell membranes, transmission of nerve impulses, channel equal to tunnel-like transmembrane protein, Na plus K plus ATPase, cell surface membranes pump Na plus ions out of the cell and K plus ion inside of the cell, K plus inside and Na plus outside. So these are, here is the replication of DNA, two new strands here, old strands, then new strand, old strand, then old strand, new strand, then two new strands are created. Genetic code. DNA molecule are stored houses of genetic information. A certain part of the DNA molecule contains a specific sequence of base pairs joined through hydrogen bonds. For instance, sequence A is different from B. A T C G T A G C C G A T T A. Here in the sequence B, T A T A G C C G A T T A A T. Next one is the role of zinc in biological system. Zinc is essential to all organisms. It is also found in several enzymes. SOD has both copper and zinc at the active site. The enzyme catalyzes the reaction 2O2 minus plus 2H plus is gives is giving H2O2 plus O2. It has two identical subunits, each having a binuclear active site with the Cu2 and Zn2 coordinated to separate N atoms of common imidazole group of histidine. Zinc can be replaced by CO or CD with 70 to 100% retention of activity, but without copper there is no activity. Zinc plays a supportive structural role, only functional role is played by copper. Zinc is essential for normal growth and development of living beings and present to the extent of 1 to 4 and 2 to 3 gram in human body. In the body there are about 18 zinc metalloenzymes and about 14 zinc ion activated enzymes. The following properties of zinc make it valuable in biology relative to other metals. Availability is more than nickel, cadmium, iron, copper, etc. Strongly retained more than manganese, iron and magnesium. Fast ligand exchange more than nickel, magnesium. No redox reaction contrast to copper, iron, manganese. Flexible coordination geometry more than nickel and magnesium. Good Lewis acid, only Cu among divalent ions is beta. Zinc complexes are generally good buffers and are used in pH control in vivo. Trace elements. The abundance of elements in different living organisms is in a given concentration range. The decreasing of abundance of elements causes physiological changes. Administration of missing trace elements improve the physiological condition. They take part in metabolism. The elements have defined biochemical functions, which is transport of biological small molecules and activation of molecules. Roles of trace elements. These are the roles of trace elements, which are transport of biological small molecules and activation of molecules. Bulk and trace elements. There are 30 elements that have been recognized as essential and indispensable to life. The elements that are required in relatively large quantity are called macronutrients, and those which are required in small quantities are called micronutrients. The essential elements can be further divided into two groups: bulk elements and trace elements. Bulk elements found in higher concentration like C, H, O, N, S, P, etc. Trace elements present in low concentration. The metallic elements play a variety of roles in biological system. Regulatory action is exercised by Na plus K plus Mg plus 2 and Ca plus 2. The flux of these ions through cell membranes and other boundary layers send signals that turn metabolic reactions on and off. The structural role of calcium in bones and teeth is well known, but many proteins owe their structural integrity to the presence of metal ions that tie together. An enormous amount of electron transfer chemistry goes on in biological systems, and nearly all of these artificially depends on metal containing electron transfer agents. These include cytochromes, ferredoxin, and a number of copper containing blue proteins such as azurin, plastocyanin, cyanin, and stelcyanin. Metalloenzymes or metallocoenzymes are involved in a great deal of enzymatic activity which depends on the presence of metals at the active site of the enzyme. All aerobic forms of life depends on oxygen carriers, molecules that carry oxygen from the point of intake to tissues where O2 is used in oxidative processes that generate energy carriers, and all of them contain metal ions that peroxide the actual binding sites for the O2 molecule. A bulk element is a mineral substance which, in contrast to a trace element, is present in a percentage by weight of more than 50 milligram or kilogram. Essential elements, bulk elements and trace elements. What are bulk elements and what are trace elements? These are defined here. A bulk element is a mineral substance which is, in contrast to a trace element, is present in a percentage by weight of more than 50 milligram or